Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd. So it's my friends at Yarnspirations.com. Today we're going to do the large pumpkin. Now the large pumpkin here is with the color of using Bernat Felted with the color Lake, and we also have this beautiful little color here, which is the Sienna Fleck. So this is a really great little pattern. The blue has me obsessed. Here in Nova Scotia, it is pumpkin country, so having all different colors of pumpkins is pretty natural for us. This here is using a 6mm size J crochet hook today, and I'm going to be playing with this yarn today. So we're going to get right into it today, and this pattern has all the different gourds that you will see, and we're going to get ourselves started right away. If you're interested, they have the diagrams available for everything. Let's begin. Okay, let's begin. We're going to create a slip knot, and we need to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and slip stitch to the beginning chain, and it forms the center ring of the pumpkin. And when you go to crochet the next round, make sure that the straggler is around the ring so it captures underneath. Let's begin with round number 1. To begin round number 1, you're going to chain 2. The chain 2 at the beginning of the rounds do not count as a stitch. So putting the straggler around the ring, I need you to put 9 half double crochets. So just wrap the yarn and going into the center and put 9 into the center. So we'll count these out together. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then we're going to slip stitch to the top of the first half double crochet. So the chain 2 does not count as anything, so it's the top of the first half double crochet. Now if you went over top, so slip stitch there, so if you went over top of the straggler like I did, you can just turn it over, but you can cut it and get rid of it and move on to round number 2. Round number 2, you're going to chain 2, won't count as anything, and in the same one that you did the attaching to, you need to place in 2 half double crochet. So we have 1 and 2. And now for the large pumpkin, there's a total of 9 stitches around. So when you put 2 into each, you'll have 18 half double crochet. So what I would be focused on, just as you get used to this yarn, just look for the tops of the stitches. You can feel it with your fingers and just place in 2 half double crochets in each. And I'll be back at the end of the round in just a moment. At the end of round number 2 here, you're just going to slip stitch to the top of the first half double crochet. Remember the chain 2 does not count as anything. So just slip stitch and pull things together, and let's move on to round number 3. Okay, let's start with the fun stuff, and we are going to chain 2, will not count as anything, and we are going to apply a puff stitch into the beginning one where you've done the attaching to. So you're just going to wrap the yarn and going in, pull through, and you're going to do that 3 times. So do it again. So wrap and in, pull through, and then wrap and in, pull through. And now you're going to wrap and pull through everything. So just wiggle it through, and chain 1 will lock it. So you need to have that chain 1. The very next one is a single crochet, which will cause this to squat down. And that's what you're going to do all the way around. So the next one right here, the next stitch is a puff stitch to wrap and in, pull through, wrap and in, pull through, and wrap and in, pull through, wrap and pull through everything, and then chain 1 to lock it, and single crochet in the next. And I need you to do this all the way around for round number 3. So I'm coming all the way around. This single crochet is the last one, and you need to slip stitch it to the top of the first puff stitch that you did. Now here's the thing. When you do puff stitches, it naturally wants to puff out to the back side, and normally what we do is we always kind of go like this and we continue to go around like a steering wheel. In this case, I want you to continue to go like this so the project is in front of you as you go around. And what this will do is that it will make it all begin to puff out on the back side. So if you flip it like this, you're gonna create it so all that beautiful stitch work will be inside your pumpkin. So keep it looking like this. And let's move on to round number 4. Round number 4, you're gonna chain 2, and right with the puff stitch that you're already in, you need to puff stitch. So in, pull through, in, pull through, and in, pull through everything, chain 1 to lock it, and then in the same one again, do the puff stitch again. So in, pull through, in, pull through, and in, pull through everything, and chain 1 locks it. And then the next one will be a single crochet. You can see it, it's right here. Okay, so every one of the tops of the puff stitches that you'll have 2 puff stitches and then single crochet in the next single, and you'll do this around for number 4. When you come back around to number 4, you're going to have a single crochet before the end, and then just slip stitch it to the top of the first puff stitch. And let's begin number 5. Okay, number 5, we're going to chain 2, and in the top of the puff stitch that you're attached to, create another puff. So in, through. You know, if you make a mistake with this yarn, you're not going to even be able to tell, really. Let's begin number 5. Chain 2, and you are going to apply a puff stitch in the same one that you're attached to. So puff on top of a puff. Now chain 1 to lock it. Now a puff stitch is next here, but what they want you to do is that they want you to separate the 2. Okay, so you have a puff and a puff that share the same. So single crochet in between them, and then puff into the next puff here, which is part of that same stitch that you had. Okay. Just got to take your time. I'm kind of rushing myself. Chain 1 to lock. And so then here you want to single crochet in the single, and then you're doing a puff on top of a puff. Chain 1 to lock, and then this one here, just separate it with your fingers, and it's, see how they're sharing the same one? It's the space that is between the puffs. And then a puff on top of a puff. Okay, chain 1 to lock it, and then a single in the next single. So I need you to do that all the way around, and please do this for number 5. So I'm coming all the way around, a single crochet will be the last, and then you're going to slip stitch it to the top of the first puff stitch. So round number 6 is next, and we're going to be talking about that because we have to repeat that a certain amount of times. So we're going to begin round number 6, and you need to we're now going to begin round number 6, and we need to do the number 6 a total of 6 times. Okay, so once you get past the first round, do it again and again and again, so 6 times in a row. So you're going to begin, and so you're going to begin by just chaining 2 and put a puff in the top of the first puff that you're attached to. I found in the last round I was getting kind of tense, and so I was causing more work for myself. So just kind of be easygoing with this yarn. Chain 1 to lock it, and then you're going to single crochet in the next single, and then puff into the next puff. So you're noticing that all the puff stitches are separated by a single in between each. So I need you to do that around, and then when you get around, attach to the first puff stitch and do it again and again and again. So a total of 6 times, and please do that now. So I'm coming around to number 6. So really number 6 has you established, and you just join it to the top of the first puff stitch, and then I want to do it a total of 5 more times. So just starting again, So just chain 2, puff on top of a puff. And so you'll notice that the top of the puff will be slightly off center, and because of that, if you look at the pattern, you'll notice that the pumpkin texture kind of has a spiral to it, and it's because of that. So you got to really take your time with this yarn. Chain 1, and then 1 single into the single, and then puff into the puff. So I still have to do it 5 more times, so please do that, and I'll be right back, and we'll start the next round after that. So I'm here at the end of the repeating section, and we're going to be on number 12 in just a moment. So I finished off on round number 11. You can see it's starting to curl around. You can see the spiraling is happening, and it's looking pretty fabulous so far. So let's move on to round number 12. So let's move on to round number 12. We're going to chain 2, it doesn't count as anything, and you'll puff stitch in the same one as the join. Chain 1 to lock it, don't forget. And then you're going to skip the next single crochet and just puff stitch into the next puff stitch over here. Chain 1 to lock it, and then you'll single crochet in the next single crochet. So it's essentially 2 puff stitches in a row, so you're going to ignore the single crochet between these 2, and then you'll single crochet to the one after that. Please do that same concept all the way around for round number 12. When you come around on the end of number 12, it's just a single into the last one, and that's just a matter of keeping the repeats, and then just join to the top of the first slip stitch. Okay, so now we're going to begin, and we're going to start with moving ourselves over to between the puff stitches here. So let's just do that, and let's begin number 13 in a moment. So starting this round, chain 2 does not count as anything, and you're going in between the space of the 2 puffs, and this single's right over here just for reference. So you're going to puff right into that same space, chain 1 to lock it, and you'll single crochet in the next single. So come between the 2 puffs that you see right here and puff. And then single into the next single. Do this all the way around for lucky round 13. So coming around on number 13, the last one should be a single into the single, and then you just join it to the top of the first puff. Okay, so let's keep on going, and we are going to start to do number 14 in a second. Number 14, you're going to chain up 1 and put a single in the same one, which is the top of the first puff, and then you'll single into the next single crochet. So it's essentially a single into every stitch. So a single into the puff and 1 into the single, and at the end of this round, we want to stuff it. It says stuff the squash. I guess squash is another name for pumpkin, I suppose, and we're going to do that in a moment. So coming around here, number 14, just join it to the top of the first single, and now we're going to use this small hole to be able to stuff your polyfill in. Now when you're stuffing it, you don't want to overstuff to the point where it's beyond recognition, and we can always shape it later in case it's not shaping right either, so we can do lots of great things. So let's now stuff this, and I'll be right back. Okay, this is lucky round number 15, and it's essentially just chain up 1, and you are going to put in a single crochet together all the way around. So every 2 stitches, just pull through and pull through and pull through 2. So if you're familiar with my teaching, I am always crocheting over here and I go this way. So this to me feels backwards, but the texture is facing out because of the direction that I had you go in. So single crochet 2 together all the way around, and we're going to leave a long tail and deal with that in a moment. Once you're all the way around, just slip stitch it to the top of the first 2 together, and you're still going to have a hole. So what I need to do is create a little bit of a longer tail, and what I want to do is not only collect the remaining stitches with my tapestry needle, but see how it's kind of the shape? You can force it to squat. I'm not going to do that because I've done pumpkins before. So I'm just going to collect all the remaining stitches that are left. So just collect them. Move your way around and give it a good tug at the end of the rotation. Okay, and when you do that, it should pull this shut. So just put the stuffing down and pull this. So if you want to see this squat better, then what you can do is just give it a good pull and just take this yarn and just go down straight and turn it over and come out the bottom end. And what you're just doing is you're just pulling down the top, just secure it into the bottom section and come back up. So now it's gone down and back. So when you pull this strand, this will pull the pumpkin center downward. And therefore you can just secure this tight in here. So we still have the stem that's left, and we'll be creating that in just a moment. So just secure this off and I'll be right back. Okay, let's create the stem, and I'm just going to chain a total of 2. So 1 and 2, and let's begin round number 1. Round number 1, second chain from the hook, I need you to put in 8 single crochets. So let's count these out together. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then you're going to join it to the first one. So if you're not sure, just count the tops back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. It's easier to see in person just in case you're struggling with me on camera today. So once you get that done, we're going to move on to round number 2. Round number 2, you're going to chain 1, and using the back loop only, you are just going to single crochet around. So if you're not familiar with crochet, what happens is that there's 2 strands that make up a stitch. And if you use the first strand, that's the front loop. And if you use the other one, it's the back loop. This is going to cause it to turn. So you just do in the back loop only. So it's 1 single crochet in the back loop. And so you'll have a flat top of your stem. And please do this around, and then you're going to join it to the beginning one when you get back around. Okay, if you're not sure, there is a total of 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Just slip stitch to the regular area and just pop it out towards you like this. And now we're going to begin the 3rd round. Round number 3, just chain up 1 and using the regular stitch work, just 1 single crochet in each stitch around. And then when you get back, just slip stitch. And I'm gonna need you to repeat number 3 a total of 4 more times for this large pumpkin. So please repeat number 3 4 more times, or as long as you want it to go. So in the last round here, you're going to chain 1 and you'll apply a half double crochet, a double crochet, and a half double crochet all in the same stitch. Just like that. And then you're going to slip stitch into the next stitch that you have. So slip stitch, and then do the same thing in the next stitch. So half, a double, and a half. And I need you to do this all the way around. So then slip into the next one. Please do that, and I'll be right back. And we're gonna leave a long tail so we can sew it to the top of the pumpkin. So coming around, the last one will be a slip stitch. And if you want to just kind of join it to the first half double crochet, you can too, just to kind of make it look a little bit more finished. It's up to you and what you would like to do. Trim this as a long tail, and then we're going to sew this to the top of that pumpkin. Okay, so place it in the middle and just going into the actual pumpkin itself, and then back out to the stem. And all you're just going to do is circle your way around. Try not interfering, because you kind of created some scallops when you did that last one. So don't stretch it to the point where it's beyond recognition. And then after this is attached, you can just kind of use your fingers and kind of just bend the stem just naturally. So we never stuff the stem because I don't think it honestly needs it. And the designer didn't think it needed it either. So once you're happy with that, you're going to want to tie it. And because this yarn is really easy to hide, just cause it to tie onto itself. And then just take the yarn and just go right through. And then back through a different spot. Okay, and then you can just trim. And that would be this cute little pumpkin. And it's a really neat idea, and I think you can have a lot of fun doing this. So this is the large pumpkin that's available on this pattern. We hope you have a good one, and I'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.